Hi everyone, my name is Corey, also known as GRC Corey, and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'll be talking about, well, this will be a second part series to the first video of if I had to do it all over again. And in today's video, I'll just be talking off the cuff and just thinking as I go along about what I would do if I had to start over again, where I had no skills and I wasn't going to college, and the steps I would take to get that first cybersecurity job. So let's just take this step by step together and jump right into it. So what would step one be for me? Well, step one would be finding a job that's closely related to cybersecurity and technology as possible. And it doesn't even have to be really in technology. What I mean by this is, let me explain. I would find a job that has or utilizes skills that can be used in cybersecurity. So for example, I work in GRC, so a lot of those skills you would have to look up, but a lot of those skills would be communication skills, technical writing, analytical skills, that sort of thing. And there are a lot more jobs out there that need those skills or utilize those skills than one might realize. Some of those jobs that utilize those particular skills are sales. You can go into sales, or, heck, I mean, if I had to work at, let's say I had to work at even Amazon as a driver, that there are skills within there too as well that I would utilize. But I would find some sort of job that is close to either audit, governance, or compliance, or risk-based. That's what I would do. So if I had to choose a job, I would probably say sales. The reason why I would pick sales is because there's just an abundance of sales jobs out there. I mean, there are so many different types of sales jobs. It's very entry level. And a lot of the skills that are within sales can be utilized even today in cybersecurity. So for example, I work in GRC, communications. Communications is a big deal. And within sales, you're able to communicate effectively with partners, stakeholders, or customers. And you have to explain, depending on what kind of sales it is. Let's say you're doing software sales or whatever, maybe you're trying to sell a SaaS product. You get to learn that product inside and out, and it's technical. You get to learn the technical aspects of it, depending on how into the nitty-gritty you want to get. But you then have to explain this product or explain whatever you're explaining to non-technical people. And that is going to be a big deal. That's going to be a really strong skill that you would utilize in cybersecurity, either if you're technical or non-technical. The second thing I would do is, while I'm working there at whatever job that I chose, I would build up those skills. Okay, I'll build up those skills. Maybe it's in sales, for example. Let's say you have to write reports, maybe. So you build up, a technical report writing skills, communications, and depending on also what kind of sales job it is, you might be looking at analytics, where your deficits are within, your sales of a quarter, quarterly sales or whatever it is. You get to look at those analytics and you build up those analytical skills as well. And while I'm building upon those skills that, that would be then utilizing in cybersecurity or putting on my resume to get a job in cybersecurity, I would then look towards the skills that I won't be building in that job, or that I could improve upon that I can add then later on to my resume that the job doesn't provide. Like, let's say that you want to do audit within GRC. I'm using GRC as an example because that's just my area of expertise. Let's say you want to do IT audit and you have the technical writing skills, but you might not really have the experience. So what I would then do is look towards either internally in my own team or other teams. Like maybe externally, for example, there is a team that is looking into the SOPs and how effective those administrative controls are being followed, or how effective those controls are. You can then work cross-functionally and to see if you can work with that team to then build up those skills so you can then put on your resume. I worked cross-functionally with X team at my company where we tested the administrative controls of our SOPs to ensure that they were being followed, and we've discovered that this control was let's say 45% effective or 65% effective. That's real world experience right there. At audit experience, you can then put it on your resume, and you can all find that from an unknown job, from a job that's not in cybersecurity, that's just sales. So it's just really digging to find those practical skills and to find those opportunities. And while I'm building all these skills, I would then also, step 3, would then look into getting certifications that are cybersecurity related. So whether that be the Security Plus, the CC, or if I look into ISACA, maybe, for example, let's just stay on the audit side of things. I would get a certification from ISACA that I know they have one called the IT Audit Fundamentals certification, and it's a very entry-level certification that shows that you do have the foundational knowledge of audit. And while I'm also trying to get these certifications, I would then start building up my social network, which is step 4. I'd build up my social network of like-minded individuals who also are deeply involved in cybersecurity. I know there are tons of meetup groups out there that are cybersecurity involved and cybersecurity related, and I would start meeting these like-minded individuals and then build my network, so then I can then later on leverage my network to then get that job that I want to have. And for example, there are meetup groups in like meetup.com, or you have your local IT cybersecurity chapter like in ISACA, depending on where you are located. There is a chapter out there that is close to you. You can sign up to that and then start making those connections. Then steps 5 and 6 is to start developing out my resume and then start selectively applying to these jobs. And so what that means is, right straight to the point, is it's pretty straightforward with the resume. Develop your resume and tailor your resume with the skills and certifications that you've developed over the year or two at your job and getting these certifications, and tailor that resume to fit the job that you want, whether it be IT audit or governance work or risk work or whatever it is. Tailor that resume to fit that. And for the selectively applying for the jobs aspect of it, is that yes, it is a numbers game. You want to just get your resume out there and get eyes on that resume, but it doesn't help if you're just randomly applying all willy-nilly without looking at the job description and what it is. That's going to do you no good, and a lot of times people might just swipe left on that. So I would selectively look at the jobs and say, like, okay, I want to apply for as an IT auditor, or I want to apply as a risk analyst. I will then look for all those positions. Go on Indeed, for example, type in risk analyst, and see there's like 1,200 some jobs out there in your area. Then filter out those jobs, and then you filter and whittle it down to the skills that are necessary or that you've built up. Then start, or maybe not, then start applying for those positions, because you don't need all the skills exactly that the job description is asking for. That's just a wish list. So apply for those jobs, but you want to be selective. And that's it. That's all I would do. I would rinse, wash, and repeat and do that, because all of these steps are working together in conjunction. Okay. And I would continue doing that. And this is the most critical part of this step. Okay. It's not necessarily necessary, but I think that it greatly helps. So a lot of times what I would hear is people say, I just keep applying to all these jobs and I just can't seem to get the job I want, or the job, maybe it's a SOC 1 analyst or a risk analyst, IT auditor, whatever it is. This is the important part. If you come across a job that is close, or at least closer to the job you want, apply to that and get that position, because you're going to want to pivot, okay? And I don't know if any of you out there are familiar in playing football or any sports, but when you go to catch the ball, they always ask you when you're analyzing to catch the ball, you got to pivot. Sometimes you got to pivot left or pivot right. That's what you got to do. You got to pivot. And if there are jobs out there that are closer to your goal, apply to those and then get that job, and then continue building upon your skills there. Then apply to the job that you want. And then if you're still not getting callbacks, apply to a job that's even closer to the job you want. But that isn't going to deter you from your goal if you pivot and get a job that isn't exactly what you wanted, but it's closer, and that is the most important part. It doesn't have to exactly be the exact job that you want, because guess what, when you're first starting out, you're not always going to get everything that you want, and I tell a lot of my friends this as well, that similarly to I guess law enforcement, or so a lot of the military guys out here are familiar with this as well, is that if you request a detail and you get so you request a detail, you might not get the location you want. If you request a location, you might not get the detail you want. Okay, and it's a very similar thing with this. Let's say there's 3 things that you want: salary, location, and job title or job. Okay? You're not going to get all 3 in the beginning. You're just not there yet. And that's okay. I wasn't there yet either. And it's completely understandable. And I'm still not there yet, but I'm continuing to work to get there. So figure out within those 3, that triad, what is most important to you, whether it's salary, position, or title, or location. And pick which one is most important to you. But you won't get all 3, you might get 1 or maybe 2. Probably at most you'll get 2. So let's say you get the position and the salary you want, you might not get the location. You might have to leave. Or let's say location and salary is what you want, it might not be the job. It might not be the exact job you wanted, but it's closer. And so that is the critical takeaway with this road. If I didn't go to college, or and it still applies to the college route too, to an extent, but it heavily applies to this road as well, where you just might not get the position that you want, and that's completely okay. And that's okay, because it's a journey. It's a marathon. It's not a race. You will eventually get there, but sometimes it just takes time. And that's something that a lot of times many people just don't want to hear. Anyways, I know this was a very quick video, but if you stayed this long, thank you so much for watching my video and taking the time to get this far. And if you like what you watched, please subscribe. And if not, that's completely okay too. But in any regards, thank you so much for watching. Coffee up, and I'll see you in the next video.
I like to be educated, but I'm so frustrated.